Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lemonade Stand podcast. Aiden, what's with the glasses?
It was a crazy week for me.
What is that?
I just flew back in on the red eye.
From where?
I was at the summit all week.
What's...
That explain. Wait, do you even have the... You're using your Apple laptop. Did you throw away all the devices that you were gifted by
you
China?
burn them as you go
Where's your
online?
Huawei laptop?
They're treasured. They're at home.
You were at the Donald Trump Xi Jinping summit.
Yes.
Why were
It
you?
was a crazy week. You know,
You got connects.
I've got connects.
I do know that.
High
You got
places.
friends in high places and low places.
Yeah, and the summit winds down, right? So you start hanging out. You start having a couple beers. It's me and Wang Huning. He's telling me all the shit that's going on at the Politburo right now.
Who's Wang Huning? I'm sorry, I'm not as informed as you.
You know, Fletch doesn't know, but I fucking who Wang
It's embarrassing,
Huning.
obviously, but if you could explain to me who Wang Huning is, that would help me a lot.
I'll tell you, a lover of music. Dance.
It's not about his job. It's about who he is. You know what I'm saying?
You
Yeah.
know, that's your problem,
Is I'm
bro.
always, like,
You don't
filtering.
care.
No,
You're always
you're
about
right.
work. You don't care who people are.
It seems like something you would actually do
actually
if
so
you heard that there's a big summit in China. You fly there and hang out in bars and nightclubs trying to get drinks with
That's
like all
what
the people.
Jensen Huang did. You see, like every 10 minutes from China.
Yeah, but he was invited. I feel like
I know,
Aiden
but
would
it was
just
like a different video of him like eating
Yeah.
street food and like mingling.
Really?
And,
Me
yeah.
and Jensen were invited, and we had a great time. It was just a crazy week. I didn't get a lot of sleep, and I'd appreciate it if you guys covered the summit. Tell me what you know about the summit, and I'll kind
You
of
were
correct
there.
you.
I think your first-hand experience is going to be more
No,
helpful.
I think it's more because I lived it.
Because you
I lived
expensed the
it.
flight on the limited stand card. And yet it seems to be
also
only
like
for
the
Yeah,
pleasure.
but I think it's
wearing
probably better. It's like
glasses to hide it.
you guys lead. I interject with what I know.
All right.
'Cause I'm tired.
That sounds really good.
Captain America Donald Trump went to China to hang out with Xi Jinping and the Chinese government for 2 days. Drama, excitement, subterfuge. All of these happened during Aiden's flight, probably. But the actual summit
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful.
was pretty uneventful, to be honest. But there's a couple things that we found that we thought were particularly interesting. Starting with a little tiny country called Iran.
That is a way you could start it. I do think that is an important part. I want to give like a little fun part just real quick because just to get into that, did you know that of the people invited, Marco Rubio, who by the way is sporting the Maduro fit here on Air Force One on his way to China, was previously been banned from China by the Chinese government for some comments he made. He's not allowed to go. But because he's one of Trump's invitees for this event, they found a loophole. China legally changed his name so that he is not the Marco Rubio that is banned, but he is a different.
Now, could you go ahead and pronounce both of those so I can hear
Well,
the
that's
difference?
where I got our expert right here. This is, I want you to go ahead and knock that out.
Ooh,
It's a tone thing.
yeah.
The tone.
No, it's tough because it's like I don't even think you guys would be able to tell the difference.
One of the guys you party with, probably, Liu Pingu here, said the sanctions target Mr. Rubio's words and deeds when he was a U.S. senator.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a different-
now that he's Secretary,
of State, he's a different
he's
man.
moved on. That's
And he's
insanity.
no longer bad. I thought that was just a funny, also interesting. You know how when I was there and we did the China episode, I kept talking about all like the AI slop videos I'd see or like the stuff about the Iran war. There was a lot of those when I was there that would be like this. It would be like AI videos of Trump, probably doing something stupid, or he was mostly making fun of him from what I saw. My understanding is for this event, they had all of those taken down.
Like
it
off
was-
the internet.
Yeah, they like scrubbed them all.
Whoa.
So it was a I don't know. It was like a making fun of free zone. He was like,
It's funny, like we clean up our cities.
yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, they cleaned up the internet.
They
and we
cleaned up
cleaned
their
up San
social
Francisco.
media.
Yeah.
Could you, like, before you keep going,
Okay.
what was I think everybody thought that this was going to be like a big epic thing. And we're talking about some of the notable takeaways, but what was the expectation of what might happen? What was the world where this is like an insanely high consequence meeting?
Yeah, I think there was two schools of thought going in. Oh, here's the thing. So if you flash back, like the last time they had a real official meeting, it's 9 years ago. 9 years ago,
That trip was crazier.
They were a spring chicken. Look how young he was. Trump was a mere 71.
You said he's
He was
7'1" here?
64. Yeah.
It's Wemby and Chris Paul.
Yeah. And in that time frame, it was clear a power imbalance existed between America and China that is just feeling different in this one today. So one of the big takeaways from this one was that it felt like the first time American and Chinese leaders have met kind of as equal. It was like they both had something on each other. There was both of a tit for tat. They clearly both wanted something. They were polite. It was kind of uneventful, but that in itself is a story based on how previous ones went. Like there was
because previous ones would have been a little more domineering from the U.S. side.
This was Trump first coming in with his like sort of aggressive China rhetoric and like trade stuff. This is his first term. And like China was on the back foot, kind of backpedaling, giving some concessions.
Yeah.
So it's like a different tone. It's a big deal.
The vibes on the ground were way different.
You weren't there at either one, and I can't continue this charade.
I mean, I think you're doing a pretty good job so far.
Thanks, appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, keep me honest. Keep me honest. And then the other thing is, okay, I'll start with Iran. I think that's one of the big stories. Is like going into this, a lot of people expected Trump to ask for help on Iran because there's only one country in the world. Maybe you count Russia, but outside of that, there's only one that has any sort of influence or leverage over the Iranian government. They're the only ones that can be like, yo, if we call, you got to take our call and you got to listen. Because they buy all of the oil, they ship all this stuff to Iran, they sell them weapons. They're so entrenched that it's important. And China, this might be counter to what people think, but China has publicly said they want the Strait to be open and they want Iran to not have a nuclear weapon. So like ideally there's some aligned goals there. When asked about it, Trump said, they asked him if he's going to talk about Iran there because it's a big deal. He said, we have a lot of things to discuss. I wouldn't say Iran is one of them, to be honest with you, because we have Iran very much under control.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But reports seem to indicate they did discuss Iran. Here's the thing. We'll never know the exact takeaway on the Chinese side, but the analysis that I was reading, even Aiden will not know this. Actually, you know what? Tell me, what is the analysis on the Chinese side? Because why didn't they? Despite publicly saying, why wouldn't they?
Or they back us
them
up?
out?
I didn't say anything because I want to let you go. You live in your fantasy land where you don't know what I know, you know? And if I were to say what I know, then I'd be in trouble.
Well, okay, I see. You're sworn to secrecy.
Yeah. You get Huning 6 drinks deep. He starts telling you crazy shit.
All right, well, you just nod and let me know if this aligns with what he said.
Do like that you got there boots on the ground, but you're not allowed to tell us about it.
The analysis seems to be that China has no interest in helping their biggest geopolitical rival out of the stinker they've got themselves into. Despite, in the long term, wanting the Strait to be open and Iran not have a nuclear weapon, they don't really have an interest in being like, we're going to call in our favors, we're going to put pressure on, why would we do that? They just have no interest, and only to help out the U.S., who's the only one. I mean, everyone's losing, I guess. China is losing because of the oil being lost from the Strait, but they would rather take that L for a larger L.
Why do you have Jeffrey Epstein shaking Xi Jinping's hand on screen?
That's going to be a tough. Oh, he doesn't have his glasses.
Oh, that is not Xi Jinping.
That is Jeffrey Epstein, though, as you can tell. No, this is Iran and Chinese foreign minister meeting.
Jeffrey Epstein is Iranian
and alive. And they actually had this meeting right before the Trump meeting, and it was seen to be like a sign of China flexing that they could get this guy to meet anytime they like. They were kind of like calling in the favor to show like we've got a line.
But Xi doesn't even show up. Who's that?
Yeah, well, they're not going to send. Anyway, one thing about Iran, but this is Trump's tweet before this summit, where he said, China is very happy that I'm permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz. Hasn't happened yet. This is back in April, but I'm sure it's happening. So right. He said, President Xi will give me a big fat hug when I get there in a few weeks because of his ability to do that. And while I didn't see everything, maybe there was some late night hugging that I didn't see about, but they didn't have any official big fat hug, unfortunately. So that's the man. There's other things I could say, but I just want to say like the idea was maybe Trump could call in a favor or trade a few things and get more help on Iran, and it doesn't seem to be the case. The idea is that is still an unresolved issue, and it's still kind of on the U.S.'s plate.
Yeah, there was an interview with Rubio that I was actually just finishing before the episode, and he's kind of hammering home this idea of like, he's clearly trying to walk the line between giving China credit and maintaining this idea of their relationship while also saying that the US is the only one willing to act. Like the China's stance is that they don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, and we really like emphasize that and we believe in that, but also we're the only ones willing to do anything about it.
Right.
And there's this constant thing where I think you'll see it come up in the Taiwan stuff later, is you're trying to appease this relationship with China while simultaneously saying like, but we will act against them we have the ability to act against them at any given time.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategic ambiguity in these meetings where they all have to say, China does this too, they all have to say things that are like very open-ended that allow for two different things to be true. So you're not pissing off your partner or your ally or your strategic rival without backing down on things you agree with. I mean, Taiwan has a ton of things where they said it was like really ships crossing in the night, saying two different things, but making it seem like the same thing.
Yeah.
But outside of Iran, they discussed trade, they discussed rare earths, and you had some stuff on the Boeing.
So amongst a number of things.
Well, Trump proudly declared that a deal had been made on, I think, soybeans, Boeing, the deal with Boeing, and then one more thing as well, right? I think there was a third.
Might have been beef or something.
I think it was beef.
Yeah.
But you had gone in depth on the Boeing part of it.
Deep. No, so
I know it's like I could tell you what it is because we were chopping it up.
You chopped it up about beef
with Boeing.
What?
About
not
Boeing.
beef.
With beef.
No, actually, I had very few beef combos. That's why it was hard to remember. It was mostly about Boeing. So I'm going to see in a sec if
all right, go ahead.
Doug has
check
it
his
all.
math.
Yeah.
All right, so Boeing, like basically in terms of giant commercial aircraft companies, there are two. You got Boeing and you have Airbus. Airbus is actually winning now because of the big disaster that Boeing had in 2019 where two 737 Maxes crashed and killed a whole lot of people. Hilarious stuff. That company has not been...
That is a good stand-up opener.
Doing... Well, so, what's the deal with airline crashes?
And if you're ever explaining that on like a podcast, don't say that model of Boeing is the Dreamliner. Don't say that, because if the listeners of the podcast would correct you.
Wait, would that happen to you?
No, I did make that mistake last time we talked about this.
Well, it's some Boeing. It's not like they're off the hook. It's like you didn't pick the wrong company.
This is 737 Max.
Yeah, it is in some ways. It's actually the company. So what's interesting, Boeing has been not doing... So Airbus is the European consortium that is the competitor. And Boeing used to be the dominant one and is now not, although it's still those two companies basically dominating the larger commercial aircraft space. So Boeing in China, their history is a little strange because the last time, it was like a decade ago, 2017, the last time that China ordered a bunch of planes from Boeing was when that 9-year ago meeting, Trump went there and basically as like a favor, they agreed to buy 300 planes, which to be clear is tens of billions of dollars. It's a lot, but it's like 300 planes. And then 2019, there was that funny prank that Boeing pulled on all those innocent people.
Right.
And then, so China grounds the planes, all Boeing 737 Maxes, and stops ordering new stuff for 4 years. So then in 2024, they finally start to order a little bit. And then last year, 2025, China's, because of the trade prank that Trump played on China, again, was like, we are not
They're like
buying.
two YouTubers doing prank wars, dude. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah. And it's like
It's
if
electric.
hundreds of lives get lost in the mix.
Yeah.
It's like,
or billions of people who all have economic different levels of security. Yeah, it's awesome.
So one thing Trump hoped to do out of this meeting was convince China to start buying a bunch of Boeing stuff again. Apparently they were expected to get convinced like 500. They said, we're going to buy 500 is what the Americans hoped. And instead, China is buying 200. Trump said on TV that China would buy 200 in, quote, big aircraft. Boeing said it had reached a, quote, initial commitment for 200 aircraft, and China didn't give any comments. And then Trump said that Beijing might dramatically expand its initial commitments to 750 planes, although, shocker, provided no details. There's no real details about any of this. And Boeing's stock dropped 4% on the news. So my question is, why the fuck is Trump pushing this? Why does this matter that much? It's a big deal for Boeing, but Boeing is a private company. This is not like a government thing. And so I was asking myself this, and I found this interesting quote from Trump 4 months ago. So if you pull this up, Harry. So he's talking about his relationship with our military contractors. Here you go.
companies. We have the best weapons in the world, but it takes too long to get them, including allies. When allies want to buy them, they have to wait 4 years for a plane, 5 years for a helicopter. We're not letting that happen anymore. We're telling our defense contractors, you're going to start building faster. Guy makes...
Okay, hold on.
I have a big problem with it. I'm the king. I have sold more Boeings than any human being on earth. They gave me an award, Salesman of the Year. I said, what about Salesman of the in the history of Boeing? I've sold more Boeing planes than any man in history by far. Probably over 1,000. Over 1,000 planes.
So the president, and I should actually just a quick, follow-up of America, not of Boeing, has been going around the world like selling Boeing planes as these weird diplomatic things. China doesn't, it's not like he's selling them to Chinese companies. He sells them to China, the government, who then distributes it to their private companies. And so it's just very strange. I'm like, why? I maybe more. There's certainly the, it's big and it's flashy. You get to say America first. It's, Boeing, giant company, creates a lot of jobs. Also, Trump has millions of dollars in Boeing stock that is being actively traded, literally right now.
Whoa. Everybody.
I watched a great CoffeeZilla last night where he lined up some Trump tweets with his stock purchase, which just got disclosed. And he has a tweet where he's literally saying the ticker of Palantir and how great of a company is right as he bought it and it dipped a little bit. It's like he's trying to, he really just, but what's funny is the amount he gained from that is, he's a billionaire. He is a billionaire now. He's kind of faked in the past. He is a billionaire. He made, I don't know, 350 grand. The fact that he cares enough to tweet to make that he's really a hustler for every.
Could be a coincidence.
On the Boeing thing though, I can steelman it slightly because other presidents have done something similar.
Yeah.
And the idea I think is that the two industries, aircraft and autos, are just strategically important because they can be repurposed in times of war. You don't want to let those decline or fail. All the auto companies during World War II were repurposed into tanks and everything. Same with airplanes. So you kind of want them to be thriving. And if Boeing gets big orders, then you have this leading. America is one of the leaders, although Boeing has kind of slipped and allowed Airbus, I think, in Europe to take their spot.
Yeah.
And actually, the interesting thing here as well. So, I'm blanking on the name. Comac, I think.
Yeah, the Chinese one?
Yeah, Comac, yeah. So Comac is China's competitor. They started 2008, and they only started delivering planes that were in commercial service in 2023. So last year, they sold or delivered to be able to use 16 total planes versus 14 to 1,500 that were done globally. So they're tiny right now, but that was founded by China with the explicit goal to stop the duopoly of Airbus and Boeing. So I wouldn't be surprised as well, because China obviously continues to grow, if part of the thing here is make sure Boeing gets a big foothold on China and Comac can't grow into that space.
Yeah, it's tough though, because I looked at the chart. I wish I had it in front of me. I'm sorry I don't. But it's basically Boeing sales to China by year. So before any of this Trump stuff, it's 800 planes a year, tons. Then the first Trump meeting happens, and I think they got a deal for, you said 700, 500?
300.
300. So it was because that's when the trade war started, and they stopped buying Boeing altogether. And then it goes down to 300, and that deal isn't even fully because of the crash and also because of COVID. Right. So they just don't even fully finish that deal. It says 300 was the headline number, but they didn't even do that. And then ever since then, it's been a trickle down to 100 or nothing. This deal's back to 200, but we're getting these deals that are small fractions of what it was before this trade war started.
Right.
So
and less than the 500 that they wanted. I mean, I think it's a failure, right? And it goes back to, again, there's not as much dominance that America has,
That's what I felt like looking at this is you have three very specific industries. Not to say that these aren't wins for people in these areas. For farmers to be able to sell soybeans to China is very important for them, right? But it feels like Trump comes into a conversation like this, gets to walk away and be like, guys, we made this amazing, huge deal for Boeing planes. And it's very showboaty as, see, we have this complex trade relationship that's very one-sided, and I'm getting wins for us.
Right.
But in the grander context of the trade deficit that he talks about all the time, and also the giant piece of leverage they have over us through that trade relationship, it feels more like showmanship of look how I fight for you guys, when it doesn't really have a grander effect on that relationship.
Agree. I think I think that was the kind of the takeaway. Not that this was a very contentious meeting. Honestly, I was generally decently impressed with how both sides said the right diplomatic things, and like even Xi could have been more like if he wanted to, he could have like humiliated Trump on this date or been more like, but he didn't. They were like, there was a genuine attempt to connect at least. But if you look at, you pull this up real quick, just like the cards Trump has, it feels like he has played his cards in all the previous meetings and is kind of running out. Like the tariffs got struck down.
I'm sorry. Go back to that image.
Yeah.
What game are they playing?
This is poker with no middle.
Okay, I want to
Poker with no middle. Trump has 2 cards, but Xi has 5.
That's a tough
and there's a
way to
huge
What you don't remember, what you don't know about this is if you win with 2-7 at most casinos, they pay you out a little
They give him a
bonus.
bonus. So he's going all
And
in
it's
on
like
that.
he's playing for the
Okay,
bonus.
so in this game though, do we know that a 2 and a 7 hand is bad?
We do.
we
do know that.
It is
We do
bad.
Wow,
know that.
okay.
It's always bad, and especially bad in this one. I think the idea is that he's used tariffs. He used them as much as he possibly could. They got struck down, and also China kind of punched back with the rare earth thing. And now that he can't do that again, we can't cut off. We've cut off high tech, which is the last thing we have, which is chips. We can't really cut off planes or soybean or beet. Like what else are we gonna? What's the lever? Nah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think China doesn't want to escalate and have another trade war. It's not good. They had, to be fair, really bad numbers just come out for retail sales, industrial growth. Like they're in a bit of a slump.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
League of Legends.
Okay.
We stop sending it to them.
Tencent owns it.
Tencent does own it.
We own
But
Riot.
Riot Games is in America.
Right.
So you put up like a shield.
It's actually Tencent does own, I think 50. What is it? 50%?
yeah,
50%
they own
of
the
Riot.
majority for sure.
And I think the U.S. government owns the other 50. So there's something at play there.
They must.
We've gotta
'Cause
have
it feels like a
something left.
CIA psyop to ruin minds. I do think the CIA is involved in League of Legends and the Chinese government, and they're both trying to ruin our youth.
And it's working. And that's a fact.
It's working.
It's ruining our youth. And
Okay.
slime Anthony Bruno.
Most popular video games in China. Honor of Kings.
Yep.
Shit, that's not ours. PUBG Mobile, that's not ours.
Yep.
That's by Tencent. Genshin Impact. Do we own that?
no.
Dungeon and Fighter Origins.
This is
League
tough.
of Legends, Dota 2, Crossfire.
If you flash
This
back a
isn't
few
good.
years, we had Avengers Endgame, which was really popular in China. If we could cut off,
we go back in time.
What if we cut off the end of the MCU so never saw how it ends?
Ooh.
That would have been a bargaining chip.
And then we could have said, we'll give you the end.
yeah.
We'll give you
We'll
the
give
end
you
of
the end
Avengers.
For soybeans.
if you buy some more Boeing
You buy some more
planes.
Boeing planes or some soybeans.
Each Boeing that you buy will be filled with DVD copies of Avengers Endgame.
So you can distribute it to the populace. So yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. But I think the main topic, at least on China's side, 100% the main topic, I think they want to talk about the most was Taiwan. I think you looked into it a little bit between drinks.
Yeah, I mean, she's spokesman. I mean,
He
I had time.
actually
I had
looked
time.
at it with binoculars.
I worked hard. I worked hard during the day.
Okay.
And
you
I
were kind of a work hard, play hard kind of guy.
and I played hard in the evening.
I appreciate that.
Me and the Politburo, a couple of them. I won't brag and say it was all of them. But she's spokesman. Put out during the meetings going on. The Taiwan question is the most important issue in China-U.S. relations. If it is handled properly, the bilateral relationship will enjoy overall stability. Otherwise, the two countries will have clashes and even conflicts, putting the entire relationship in great jeopardy. And this is by the U.S.'s side, like own account. This is the number one issue in all previous meetings with China. Taiwan as an issue on the whole is always the thing that comes up the most, usually the thing that's talked about the most. And I wanted to pull up, there's a long interview with Trump that Fox did in China, and then that one that I mentioned by Rubio, where they both kind of answer questions around the topic. And they're trying to play this dance of nothing has changed, but maybe we will act, and maybe we'll sell them weapons, but also maybe we won't.
Right.
And finding a way to say that while saying nothing at all
Every country
times.
in the world has their own little song and dance on Taiwan of finding a way to like say it in the right way.
And I sent you a YouTube link. It just comes in at the correct timestamp. So I want to watch like a minute of this interview with Trump.
Should the people of Taiwan feel more or less secure after your meetings with President Xi?
Neutral.
Neutral. This
Has
been
the
going on for
policy
years.
changed at all?
No, nothing's
U.S.
changed.
policy.
No, nothing's changed. I will say this. I'm not looking to have somebody go independent and, we're supposed to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war. I'm not looking for that. I want them to cool down. I want China to cool down.
But you're waiting on approving billions of dollars of weapons for Taiwan.
That's right.
Is that
I'm
moving
holding
forward?
it. Well, I haven't approved it yet. We're going to see what happens.
What are you looking for?
I may do it. I may not do it.
Yeah, what's your hinge point?
Well, I'm not going to say that, but I may do it. I may not do it. But we're not looking to have wars. And if you kept it the way it is, I think China's going to be okay with that. But we're not looking to have somebody say, let's go independent because the United States is backing us.
So President Xi probably liked that you haven't approved the weapons to Taiwan.
I would say like is maybe too strong a word because he thinks I could do it with just the signing of my signature, unlike Biden who couldn't sign his.
Dude, okay, that's all I wanted to get to. It is really funny because through this whole interview, it's amazing. We do go to the Biden El Clasico so much in this interview.
It does hit every time.
Biden couldn't do it. I did
He
it.
couldn't sign it. He just
He
didn't have that
couldn't have
capabilities.
signed it.
Not relevant.
But I think both him and Rubio are hammering the idea that like nothing has changed post this conversation. Like nothing about the relationship between us and China and Taiwan has changed. But if you, as you can
I want
imagine,
to push back on that. Can I jump in? Or like, not on you, but on them.
yeah.
Okay, I just want to say, because like, I think from Rubio's point of view, nothing has changed. I think Rubio was really good at this in this event of maintaining message discipline. He said that China will always try to push you or get concessions, and you always say our stance is unchanged. And that way you're not even answering, you're not giving a thing. But Trump can't do that. And so even in that interview right there, certain things he said, like, we don't want to go 3,000 miles to fight a war. Like he's saying things like, it's closer to them. We're not going to. And what it is doing is if Taiwan, who believes America is their ally and has some backing, is now scared. And they're thinking they might get the Ukraine treatment, where you pretend to be an ally for a long time. Then when times are tough, you don't get out. And also even the idea that Trump would renege on an already signed weapons deal because of what happened in this meeting is opening the door to China being way more like seeing an opportunity with Trump that they can, because back to cards, turns out this is kind of the last huge card that Trump has that China wants something, which is that if Trump backs off visibly from Taiwan, stops selling them weapons, that's very much in China's interest. They very much want that, and they're willing to trade stuff for that.
Yeah.
And Trump loves a deal, loves a trade.
There's a couple other things in this that because in the vein of what you're saying, the president of Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, I think, he saw this, and sees what Trump says during and after the meetings, and is like, whoa, hold up, you guys already agreed to this. This is a security commitment based on laws that we both share. And Taiwan will not be sacrificed or traded, and will not give up its free way of life under pressure, insisting that like this agreement has to go through. And he admitted, like a quote said, they were very concerned about the contents of the meeting that was had, while also saying that Taiwan's not going to do anything to like provoke or start a conflict, seemingly in reply to the idea that Trump is saying like, nobody go and say anything about independence now. Like,
right.
They're not trying to start anything. And then I think this also comes in because a huge chunk of this interview, Trump goes back and starts complaining that Taiwan hasn't made hard enough of a commitment to chip development in the United States. And basically saying like a huge part of what they need to do better for everybody, you need to start developing chips in the US and not in just your country. And it was a mistake of previous presidents to allow, quote, Taiwan to steal chip developing technology and have it be so centered in their country. And and it's part of the reason why Intel has fallen so far behind. This is, I think
it's funny because if you're Taiwanese and you hear that, Trump is not that subtle. The obvious implication is get this chip stuff out of Taiwan so that we can sacrifice this pawn.
Exactly.
Like it's not, once that tech is out, I have no reason to care. And so like, I don't know, it's very frustrating as someone who values America. Like the way he's treated all of our allies, Europe and it's very frustrating to me, but Taiwan is one of them. And it's like,
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I was thinking, is like, if you're listening to this, you have to be so mad because the guy is basically demanding that you give up the last significant piece of leverage you really have over keeping the protection as is. And it's already so ambiguous to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean, this was a strategic plan from Taiwan. I was reading something recently about because the people who still run the chip industry are like in their 70s now. They're pretty old. And they've, like, in their generation, they went from way, way, way behind Intel, nothing, and they poured government money and time and influence into this to make that their linchpin. This is the golden jewel of Taiwan. We can make the best chips in the world. And now they're kind of reaping the rewards. Taiwan GDP growth just broke like a record or something. Like, literally, because all of the money and all the tech companies in the world is flowing in to Taiwan right now because of the AI boom. They are one of the biggest beneficiaries. And I don't know what it was, but for a developed economy, it was one of the biggest GDP prints in a long time. Is that 13%? Yeah.
Oh my God.
13% is crazy. Like China does 5, America's at 2 right now. It's like 13% for a big developed economy.
It's a big year for them, like they've got that.
You were there.
Alex Honnold climbs Taipei 101 and Mark Rober commentated it. Not sure why that happened.
That's the big 3. So like they are riding high, but this Trump thing might have got
Taiwan stole Mark Rober from us.
That is a red line.
We want to create Mark Rober here in America.
YouTubers.
If the next glitter bomb video is in Taipei, I'll take up arms.
And I won't sell them arms. Anyway, I mean, those were like kind of the main things. I don't know if you guys have any minor stories. I will say, like, overall, it could have gone way worse. It could have been way more contentious. Last thing I'll say, there's a book called Thucydides' Trap that I really like by Graham Allison. And it's about how it looked at all the times in history when there was a established dominant power and then a rising power based off Athens and Sparta. And like, I don't know the percentage, but like 91% of the time, over 60 examples, there was a conflict, there was a fight. And the only times that what didn't was like America and UK, and there's a couple examples. And Xi Jinping specifically referenced this book in conversation. He specifically said it to Trump, and we have to avoid the Thucydides trap. And I thought that was interesting. I don't think Trump has read it. I'm not sure it's part of his, but I think the idea that, like, hey, a conflict between America and China that gets hot would be so bad for everybody. Let's keep this in mind and let's avoid it. And this meeting seemed generally in that direction. So it's not a horrible idea. I think Trump is kind of bumbling.
Aiden got drinks with Thucydides, I think.
I think you were a big part of
I kept things cool this year. You heard Trump? He said he wants China to stay cool, Taiwan to stay cool.
Yeah.
You're
chill.
I was keeping it together.
Needing to wear sunglasses does not imply you kept it together.
I was keeping it cool, Doug. And I wanted to end this because we talked. You brought this point up a while ago. The common formula of the headline: China has done this thing, but at what cost?
Oh yeah.
At what cost? And I thought it was funny as I was going through stuff to read about the summit. There's a Wall Street Journal article that is literally titled, "Xi Jinping is now the world leader he wanted to be, but it has come at a cost."
Did they say what the cost is?
Nope. I haven't opened it.
Okay,
I just literally took the headline, and I'll fully admit that.
That's the kind of hard hitting.
that's the hard hitting. I didn't read that one.
You have time to read.
I didn't read that one.
Sir.
When you're 15 Long Islands deep.
I have to cop to when I didn't read the article.
Yes,
I saw
sir.
the headline, and I just thought it was funny.
No, it is funny.
And that is it.
It's funny because they should at least find a synonym. They always do the same headline. But there's a challenge, just mix it up. It's always
There's a
that
challenge.
one cost.
It's like, I'm sure there are costs.
There's always some.
They
I'm
want
sure.
to be a Marvel villain, which is like, mostly one-sided, but there's one interesting thing that makes them slightly sympathetic. Like they always want that.
We talked a little about planes.
Yep.
But what about the airlines? What have they been up to? And there was a recent thing that came up. It was in April. JetBlue is potentially being sued in a class action lawsuit for predatory pricing practices. So you may remember we talked a while ago to Lena Khan about the threat of companies utilizing private
grilled her
information.
ass.
We grilled her. I mean, we took her to the fire, dude.
Okay, when we raked Lena Khan over the
coals. And she didn't even want to be there. She hated that interview
was-
because of how hard hit
She was in
our
shambles,
questions
I
were.
think.
Hard and feathered.
She cried. at the end of that interview. A lot of people don't know that.
But she was
Surprised the New York Times didn't put that. No, but she brought up about the potential pricing practices of companies using private data. As an example, say they know, like an airline knows that you're going to a funeral, and they increase the price of a ticket because they have that information to take advantage.
This idea,
incredibly dystopian. So in April, a guy tweets at JetBlue, a $230 increase on a ticket after one day is crazy. I'm just trying to make it to a funeral. JetBlue on Twitter responds, their customer service rep responds and says, clearing your cache and cookies or booking with an incognito might work. Incognito window might work. We're sorry for your loss. Seemingly implying a public acknowledgement that they do indeed participate in this pricing practice, which immediately there is an uproar about. Like the customer service tweet itself goes a little viral on Twitter through that period of time. I think I actually saw it when this happened. A few days later, not necessarily the person that made that tweet, but a person files a class action lawsuit that is yet to be approved or cleared by a judge, that JetBlue is taking these sort of tactics. And I think if you're, tapped into the idea of this existing, like if you watch that Lena Khan interview, for instance, you're like prepped for this to be a problem.
Yeah.
But JetBlue has like outright denied that they do this, as well as other airlines. And JetBlue is just saying, guys, like the customer service rep, like just didn't know what they're talking about. And we don't collect this type of information. This is just how ticket prices work. Like when other seats get booked, like ticket prices can change within short periods of time based on availability of a flight. And to be fair, as I looked into this, there is no significant data or like pattern available, at least for now, that they actually have done this. Like there isn't, there's plenty of other like standard reasons why fares do go up within that period of time. There's no like pattern of this behavior, and the lawsuit hasn't been approved.
Look, it is fully possible that they're not actually doing this specific behavior.
Yeah, but I'm not saying airlines are good guys.
It's just that I saw, there was like that More Perfect Union video where they were talking about how companies like Instacart specifically said they don't do algorithmic pricing. And so they did an experiment where they actually got hundreds of phones, hundreds of drivers.
Yeah.
And they were different prices on the groceries. And so like they can lie.
Of course.
Until there's like an experiment or an idea that like they have to really do the calculus. Is this going to be investigated by the government, or are we going to get a fine bigger than what we gain? If they're not going to do that, then the smartest move is to lie and then do some form of it. So I don't know. I'm not saying it isn't happening. I am saying that like we need to start thinking of a plan if it does happen where you can fake to be my alive grandma.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm going to her funeral, I can like send you an email or something, or like publicly buy you a gift on Amazon so the cookie tracks it.
I'm ready anytime. You activate me.
Yeah, you just keep writing into the description. She's really not that fun to hang out with.
Yeah, I barely even want to go.
Debating whether this is going to be fun at all. Just kind of seeing
the price plummet.
Just kind of seeing. It shows $200, and you're like, actually, I think I'm staying home that weekend. The price checks down.
Yeah, I think I'm fully with the idea that airlines may be doing this or will attempt to do it down the line. From right now, there isn't this specific paper trail of like this being true in this moment. This isn't
I'll give you an example. I just want to say, because like when I worked in marketing and NVIDIA, we would have to do social media ad buys on like Meta, on Facebook. And there is a shocking amount you can tell about a person without tracking the things you think they're tracking. Like just by, the famous example is like, they can often know you're pregnant before without tracking that. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't this a thing? This was with Target, right? Yeah. Target had put together like a package of recommended items to their customer that they assumed were pregnant from other things they had bought, and they didn't even know yet.
Yeah,
and then
100%.
They sued Target for that. I think
it was something. But yeah, I mean, the idea is like just by the information that you already do give, they can correctly and legally say, oh, we don't track this, this, and this. But because those things correlate so well with all the data points they have, they can find truths about you.
So,
yeah.
This isn't one-to-one, but it did make me think of, you know how people talk about how their phones listen and record them all the time? And like, oh, I was just talking about this type of dog food, and then like my phone fed me an ad for it like an hour later. And the reality of that is mostly that no, your phone doesn't listen.
Yeah, you're right.
to you.
They don't do that.
They don't really do that. There's an asterisk on that. But what they do is collect so much of your browsing data that they can predict the type of ad to that degree of certainty anyway,
right? And
without listening to you.
You're not a unique snowflake. There are people who have 98% of the same details as you, and they saw the same Instagram post or heard the same news story or whatever that made them search the same thing. And so it's like they know what you're going to do almost based on the people just like you. There's so many people doing the same thing. So yeah, I think that's what most of like it's listening to me is from, is some guy saw the same.
That's why whenever I'm like driving on the freeway, sometimes I'll just like screech off to the side just to throw them off. Like I want to be unpredictable and unknowable.
The handler for Doug at Meta is like, fuck, where'd he go?
He's breaking containment. I wanted to test. This is not an infallible experiment by any means.
I buy 1,000 colanders every weekend. I want Instagram to have no fucking idea what I'm up to.
It's fucking up everyone else's recommendations because they also buy like a mug and it's like, you want a colander, right?
This is like when I sold my best-selling book, Doug, a DougDoug story, and then people kept buying it. We tried to buy it alongside lube, so it would show up as recommended on Amazon. And then one guy bought it alongside House of Leaves, so it's like recommended alongside House of Leaves all the time.
The last thing I wanted to try, because I'm supposed to fly JetBlue later this year, I'm like,
for a funeral?
For a funeral?
For a wedding.
You're going for a funeral. You have to be there for that wedding?
For a wedding, JetBlue, that I have to go to. If I don't go to this wedding, my girlfriend will be very upset with me, JetBlue.
Unless it's your wedding.
Don't make it expensive, so I say I can't go, JetBlue.
Listening and rubbing his hands, hitting the up button on the price.
No, I'm just kidding. It should be a fun.
Wait,
fun
I got an airline story. Sorry.
Oh no, I just wanted to say I tried like three different browsers, 3 different devices. Like and am I logged into Google? Am I not logged into Google? Checking the same prices of 2 sets of JetBlue flights I have later in the year to see if like maybe they're fucking me. It's all the same price across everything.
This is just like a social media intern who just doesn't understand how the browser work, which kicked off this huge class action.
I don't think it was that. I think it could
or was there other pieces?
This could be the actual revelation of JetBlue doing this. We don't know yet, right? It could be that. 2, it could be an employee that had heard about this type of pricing tactic, thinks they're too low on the chain to actually know, but thinks JetBlue does this and recommends to that person that they do this in order to fix the problem. Or they're just throwing it out there because they don't know how any of this works. There's a bunch of different possibilities. Yeah. But you got another airline story.
I got a different airline story, and this one's a little bit fun, all right? Although I guess maybe not. We'll see. You know how people have been finding different quirky, fun ways to insider trade using the new poly market and Kalshi prediction markets. They've become such a hot topic. Well, a guy did one that was so crazy that I have to give him props, even though I don't like that trend. There is a bet every single day on what the temperature will be in like France, for example, in different countries. And this guy found out that the way that is measured is by a sensor at the airport. And so he, in this video,
Dude.
so you can pull this up, took a hairdryer, heated up the sensor, and then took the outside long shot bet that it would be really hot that day, even though it wouldn't, and made 34,000 pounds or 34,000 euro.
Is that illegal? Are there laws that say you can't go heat up the temperature sensor?
I don't know. I don't know.
Up to this point of human history, why would you go use a hairdryer on the temperature sensor? Why would they have preactively made a law?
There's no rule against it.
You know, when I was riding the Amtrak for the first time in a long time, and they have these really long extended announcements about what you can and cannot do in the cars. And they get really specific. So you start to wonder, it's like, oh, people just did
Someone
that
had
at
to do
some
that. Yeah,
point.
keep adding to it.
And now in the future, there's going to be a new sign up on the fence that says no blowing hair dryers or other items to affect temperature readings.
I mean, their solution to this problem, by the way, was just to move it to a different airport. So I'm quite sure someone's going to try it again.
Okay, I haven't thought about this because the real version of me, the like 90% version of me is like, this is a scourge on our society. This needs to be policed at the very least. Like you cannot allow these things. But then the other 10% of me is like, dude, if you're the fucking moron betting on this shit, I fucking applause to that guy for just doing it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think about that for a lot of things. There's so many things where I used to be like, guys, we have to stop this. And now I'm like, bro, if you're falling for this still, if you're still buying, like if you're in 2026 still being like, well, this NFT is a good idea.
Yeah, which is that mentality. That mentality.
Like, I can't save you
for regulation
Yeah.
is just untenable. Like you can't have that mentality and have like
you
a
have to.
society.
Yeah.
But I do. Part of me still does feel that way. Do you?
Because it feels like how, if you regulate, if you're stupid enough to still fall for some of these things, you can't regulate it enough. There's not enough rules that'll save you. The insider trading is so prevalent on these platforms that big stock trading firms like Jane Street and all these, the big hedge funds are now scraping Polymarket to find consistent winners and then front running their bets on much bigger, because they're making pennies compared to what you can make on the stock market if you knew some truths about the Iran war or missile.
So they're analyzing Polymarket to find people who clearly have insider knowledge.
And then they're going, what's the bigger bet we can make off this?
Wow. Oh, that's so awful and fascinating.
I know.
Wow.
It's really fascinating. It's a wild place, the world we live in. Speaking of which, a lot of this wildness happened after COVID. And that was a really fun time for us as streamers.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
And so now I'm hoping, I've always been hoping,
Yeah.
when's the next pandemic coming around?
Okay.
And you've been following up.
Yes.
Okay.
God. All right. So 2020, there's this pretty funny prank on the world. And so you might have heard.
You had that bat, right? You ate that bat or that pangolin.
2020 is a the pangolin
You were on your other China trip. You were
on my other China trip.
You were smoking a little weed.
You ate it in a lab, if I remember.
In a lab? No, a lot of people think it was in a lab,
Yeah.
but I just went to the market and bought the pangolin.
Right, you just bought a pangolin.
I just bought a pangolin, and then I cooked it. I cooked it, but not well enough.
Yeah.
You didn't bring
I've
it
spent a lot
to
of time in
boil.
China
A
the
lot
last
of
decade,
time in
actually.
China.
A lot of people don't know that.
You're the Forrest Gump of China, bro. Shit is happening around
And
you.
then I flew straight to Italy.
And then Tom Hanks' house, I think you met up with Tom Hanks. And it kicked everything off.
All right. Now, fingers crossed, because this new fun version of a new virus came from South America. Tell me you have not gone there recently.
No, just China.
Okay.
Just kind of
You were talking about your Venezuelan friends recently, haven't been visiting.
No, it's in phone calls.
Okay.
Phone calls.
All right, so Hantavirus, you might have heard of it. This is I guess, very small outbreak that is happening of a rare disease. And I think it's kind of bringing up some of the same types of fears about pandemic stuff because we're all fresh off of a horrific pandemic. So this is a disease that comes from rodents. Does not normally affect humans, but some rare strains can. Basically, it's like you get the flu symptoms that are bad, and then it can affect your lungs or kidneys and kill you. It can be pretty rough. There's no treatment, vaccine. The kind of scary part is it's 1 to 6 weeks incubation period, meaning by the time you get it versus showing symptoms, it's 1 to 6 weeks, which is a long time, which means you might have it and be contagious without knowing it. But we don't know how it spreads. So you might, if you've heard about this before this point, it's because this outbreak happened on a cruise ship, very recently.
The Northern Lion Super Cruise.
Yeah. So this is over the past 2-ish.
I heard this why they canceled it.
2-ish weeks, couple-ish weeks. And it spread on this cruise ship, but we don't know how, because normally these things spread by basically rat or rodent droppings. So if you're snorting lines of rat urine, that could get you hantavirus. You're probably not going to get it if you aren't directly exposed to rodent droppings and you're inhaling them in small spaces. So this is the one strain, it's called the Andes strain, that can spread between people of hantaviruses. And so we've known about this for a while. This isn't like out of nowhere, this particular thing that is spreading on this cruise ship. But it's infrequent enough and it's small enough and it hasn't really been a big deal before that we don't know how it's transmitted.
Well, rat droppings are cool now, so everyone's been like,
Oh, people have been.
it's
That's
been
like what the kids are
trending.
doing.
Yeah,
If you go-
the TikTok's on it, bro.
Like I took NyQuil,
Yeah.
in high school to try to hallucinate. Kids
Yeah.
now they're doing rat
We're
urine.
calling it Chuck E. Cheesing, bro. They go
You go to
crazy.
You go to the club, you get a little bag of drops.
You have yourself a night, bro. You were doing it with Jensen Huang in China, bro. Don't act like you're above it.
But it was pure. It was pure.
it was the good stuff.
It was pure. You think Jensen's getting bad
Yeah,
shit?
yeah, he's doing
It
You
is
think
cool
Jensen's
how-
There's
getting bad
nothing
shit?
stepped
Every
on with
story we've
Jensen
talked
Huang.
about today, you were actually involved with any
Dude,
research.
it'd be
That's
so
true.
funny if we interviewed Jensen Huang like a year from
And they
now.
cut this
we cut to this clip.
Are the allegations true? New York Times. They grilled him about his rat dropping usage.
No, Jensen, like hundreds of thousands of people listen. It's crazy.
Perry, if you pull this up, here's a little article from, or image, excuse me, from Bloomberg showing the map. So basically this leaves from South America. The idea is probably a couple people got onto this cruise ship, which only had 150 people. It's small, but got onto this ship. They probably spread it to some degree. It spread. So while this all might sound scary, you might heard of Hantavirus and all this stuff. It's not like a huge deal, to be honest. So here's what we do know. 3 people have died in total. It's kind of bad if you get it. There's been 13 total cases, and at this point, the cruise ship is like done. People have disseminated, but they're under watch, basically, because it's in a couple different countries now, but people are quarantining and whatnot. World Health Organization and CDC says the risk is super low. European health officials are saying this isn't showing like it's going to mutate or anything. It's not, which is what would make it more contagious, right? That's the thing with COVID. It keeps mutating to become a new thing that spreads. But that does not appear to be happening here. According to the European CDC, they've already sequenced the genome. And I think really fortunately, the result of this, you might have heard about this and been a little freaked out like I was until this morning. It's like, basically seems fine. The 2 things to be concerned about. One is just there is a long incubation period. So there's a world where this suddenly starts spreading, but it seems to just not be nearly as scary.
Is there not a confirmation of like to what amount of that incubation period you're contagious at all?
We don't even know how it transmits. We know very little about it.
Okay.
So that is the part that you might be afraid of. But of the information that is now rapidly developing, like the CDC, like said this was an emergency or took emergency actions immediately, but they're saying it's contained. They're saying it's fine. And if you really need comfort, take a look at this Poly Market poll, of which a Hantavirus pandemic in 2026, only 6% chance. So I really see no concern at all. I think the main story here,
We're safe.
honestly, is that people are freaked out because of COVID and distrust of government. So that even though the CDC and the WHO are both like, this is good, we've got it under control, we're just going to keep it careful. Like, we don't have a CDC director, permanent one anymore, and we haven't for a long time. People generally are distrusting the government. So I think this is less of a real serious concern for a pandemic right now. All the signs point to this will be contained, even though it sounded kind of scary. I think it's
just tough because I agree with you. I from what I saw, it doesn't seem to be the COVID level, but people said this shit. Like, I remember all the shit. I remember Elon Musk saying no new cases by April. I remember seeing all this stuff downplaying it, or it's contained to overseas, or there's only a few cases in America. It was just like, it just became bigger, and every step of the way, people were downplaying until Tom Hanks got it, and then it was like this big deal.
Yeah.
I'm just calling a homie. I've got a friend,
You got a friend?
doctor, studies infectious disease.
Oh, he plays Melee though.
No.
Oh, I thought you had a Melee.
No. He's just a
You
doctor.
said-
This is what I
You
talked
said
to
no
for
offended.
vaccines, right? I assume you connected me with him for vaccines.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. We talked.
Same guy.
About vaccine stuff.
And we had an interesting conversation, not about hantavirus, but about something similar a long time ago, where he was talking about this. There's a really high percentage chance that if you do get it, you die. And the question in medicine of how effective is it actually for a virus to have a really high percentage chance of killing you? Because if the virus kills like 40, 50% of the people it infects, it lowers the chances of it spreading.
Oh, right.
Or that's the argument, is
Right,
that
right.
it's not actually good for the virus's like life in the long run.
I mean, viruses, maybe I'm speaking out of my butthole here, but they don't want to kill the host at all because then they die, right? And the reason you have viruses killing us in the first place is because they come from animals.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not supposed to be in our body.
Some of them do it for the love
greatest
of the
joy.
Okay. Yeah.
but I haven't.
And they've been on social media.
I haven't had a
And
Keep reading
conversation.
about how hot the other viruses are.
Pathogens are.
Wait.
Viruses are the bottom of the social standing and and they want to move up in the world, and killing is how they do that.
I think knowledge on this topic is something that I maybe
deep
have
in.
the
This is-
least to contribute. I think I want to. I actually want to call him about this because I haven't had a chance to speak with him about it and get his.
We should do a costume episode where we dress up as doctors and we just
we give our takes, dude.
we give our takes on medicine.
Well, last week's episode was pretty scientific, so I think we have a process.
I think we're
locked
locked
down.
in.
Yeah, you're right. Like this could get bigger. It is a thing that is still technically scary right now, and I think primarily because we're all like a little scarred from this recent thing. But public health officials, including the CDC of Europe and of America, are both saying we are monitoring this closely, but this does not appear to have the same kind of like particularly scary properties. So it is obviously possible, but I think the main question here is like in that horrible nightmare scenario where it happens, would people go back to playing Among Us or swap to Peak, which is the better game?
Yeah, if this happens, if you tell me that, you're seeing the cases pick up, I'm investing in friend swap games. I'm putting so much money. I'm taking my entire net worth and I'm dumping it on that because
Get to Work 2's coming out real quick.
Yeah.
we're going to shovelware that shit out,
pumping
dude.
shit
I'm
out.
going to reskin it.
Okay, this is more an open question because I literally don't remember. I get your brief pushback of like people were downplaying the seriousness of COVID.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it. Am I crazy? I don't feel like health institutions downplayed it. I feel like figures and people who had like more vested interests or obvious lack of knowledge. But it was like, maybe I'm crazy. This is years ago. I literally do not remember. I'm trying to
so
remember.
much weed. No, I don't. I'm not sure. I remember. I remember news, basically. I remember news telling me that it was contained and not a big deal, but I'm not sure if they were quoting.
Remember like our best source of news were podcasts, and they would just like have random doctors on who would be like, this is what we're seeing here, and be invalidated in like 3 days. Like, it was just,
Yeah, it was crazy.
this thing's been going on for like a month and a half, by the way. So this isn't like the last week. It's becoming a panic. It's basically a thing you might have heard about. Seemingly right now, everybody's in quarantine, and we're,
Why don't I just ask Grok?
knock on wood, okay.
I feel like Grok will tell me whether it's a big
That's a good
deal.
point. Wait, what else? What,
Oh, there's an Ebola outbreak too. Jeez Louise.
oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking about. I was thinking about getting
Think
that
about
ready for
get Ebola.
Well, trying it out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a world traveler.
You're a traveler, and you've always been jealous of those that had Ebola because it was like something you never got to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm like,
You often said that.
was who wrote that story about the fig tree Platt, right?
What?
Nobody knows what.
You're
I'm
having a
talking about.
stroke.
Let's move on.
The fig
Do
tree
you know?
Platt?
Is
Keep
it
all
Olivia?
this in.
Is it Olivia?
Sylvia Plath?
Sylvia?
I don't know.
Fig? Sylvia Plath. My bad. It's Sylvia Plath. I don't know why. It's Sylvia Plath.
Did you say Oliver Platt?
The
Is that
story
what
of
you
the
said? You
fig.
made a
The
man?
story of the fig tree.
Yeah.
Where you look at like it's this tree and it has all your lives at the end of every
see.
fig is a different version
Wow.
of your life. And the one with Ebola, it's like I want to experience that too.
Didn't Sylvia Plath? It's
Shit,
kinda
let's
dark,
keep
but
all
didn't
that in.
she stick her head in an oven or something?
Shout outs to Sylvia. What you got? What you got? What you got going on in
I
there?
want to stew in this for a bit. I really love to
No,
hear more
I
of
want
your
out.
thoughts on poets.
I want out.
I don't think we should move on until we've heard everything you got to say about Sylvia Plath. So I actually have a story that I think Mr. AI might find interesting. Okay, let's pull this up. I thought this was
I don't know if you heard,
funny.
there's a little thump at the bottom of the table just now.
Okay, I want to pull this up. This is a social experiment that I found to be quite funny and kind of, I don't know, a twisted mirror up to society.
Yeah.
Okay. The Joker himself was
dark and twisted mind.
People want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. This guy had an idea. What if I take an actual Monet painting that is not well known and tell everyone it's AI? How will they react? And so we uploaded this. I generated an image in the style of a Monet painting using AI. Please describe it in much detail as possible what makes this inferior to a real Monet painting. That is a catnip prompt for people who are really, really anti-AI.
Oh, he marks it as made with AI on Twitter? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he marked it as made with AI. Anyway, this is real. And the rage bait was well done. So I have some examples here. And again, knowing it's a real Monet, reading some of these, it's Monet-ish, yes, and certainly pretty, but at the risk of sounding pretentious, it would IMO not hold up next to the real thing. The first time I saw Monet's paintings up close, it was astonishing. The brushstrokes here aren't as precise. They're just all negging Monet.
Yeah.
There's a certain harshness, no soft blending of colors. It's all borked nonsense with no sense of place, no frame, just colors. There's no focal point. Just it's garbage. Brushstrokes don't feel Monet. People going on and on and on. I will say there are some real fucking art chads out there who actually know their shit, and they were like, "Wait a minute, this is a real. I mean, is this detail from an actual late Monet? You can tell the brushstrokes are super similar." And since there's a couple people that had like, I'm still getting up. Let's see, disagree with people saying it lacks depth. There's a clear plane with the lily pads. Paint texture looks believable as a physical object. It's not a top tier Monet, but it's a very credible Monet, which is probably true. So there's some people that have the knowledge to figure it out, but I think this just goes back to the idea that, I think we all have said many of the problems with generative AI, but the one argument that's always annoyed me is the one about like the hands or, there's too many teeth. All the ideas that like, of course they're going to fix that in 2 seconds. And I think this puts a lens up to that of people just trying to downplay something basically fictionally, just making up things of why it's so shit once they know it's AI. It's more of a feeling than it is like the actual measurable impact of it.
I mean, we're pretty much there, right? Where you can't tell the difference. And this is another indication of that, but like in a weird reverse thing. Like obviously plenty of photos and videos and what's not, you can still tell, but man, it's so fucking hard. Like it's insane.
I heard an AI, this is gonna sound crazy, but I heard an AI Drake song, and I also listened to all 3 of his new Drake albums, and the AI song was probably better.
You listen to all 3?
Yeah, it was on stream. We were kind of
All
roasting
3?
it. We were kind of roasting it. And I was like, damn, this album's kind of boring. And then I heard a song. I didn't know it was AI until I heard it. I was like, that was kind of good. And it turned out to be. So I don't know. It's a weird time. I do think once you know it's AI, I have a similar feeling to some of these people where once I know, I just lose interest. It's not as interesting or fun to enjoy.
Yeah.
But the idea that you can measurably see the difference seems to be declining day by day. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is more I think this is a classic exercise in just tricking people who have conviction about things they hate but don't actually know anything. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like this is like when you can do this where you're like, doesn't it suck that Biden did this? And then the person's like, yeah, I fucking hate Biden. And then you're like, yeah, Trump did that. Gotcha. Like it's an exercise in an exercise in like owning people that I think is like, of course this was going to happen. Did you need to do it? That's a little bit of how I feel about it is.
I don't know. I guess I would like people to have, because if you stick to this line of argument, you're going to get more frustrated and angry as the quality gets better. But if you have a more principled one, you're like, hey, I don't like generative AI on its purpose, on its surface. Yeah. At least then you can, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think this exercise he's doing doesn't really like, I don't think this shifts the needle on people having more principled arguments about this. I think this is for him to feel good.
Maybe.
And for us to laugh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. This feels like a funny roast. But then some good resources I found that I think are about if you want to understand maybe some of the downsides of AI art beyond just, oh, it looks bad or it's going to take jobs. Brandon Sanderson, who writes the Cosmere series books, he has a video called, if you just search Brandon Sanderson AI art bad, it'll probably come up. It was like a couple months ago. And basically his argument is the creative process requires you to go through things and it is not about the destination. And if you just kind of get to the destination, then you're ultimately like not really creating anything at all. And then as well as...
That's what I think that what you're saying, the principled outlook of, oh, I'm not interested in this AI piece of art not because it doesn't have some facet of being interesting, but because it wasn't made by a human, which kind of just excludes what the point of art is.
100%.
Yeah.
I think if more people are on that line of thought, there's more progress being made than everyone kind of coping every time a new one comes out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I find that to be like just turns me off.
If you listening, you want to feel like you have more of a meaty argument for why you don't want AI art to exist, even if it ends up being as good as Monet or whatever the standard ends up being. We Are Art by Brandon Sanderson is a keynote he gave recently. And then a video I really liked was Suno, AI Music and the Bad Future by Adam Neely. Very long video about AI music, whereas Brandon Sanderson's is more about AI art broadly. But I think both of them talk a lot about how I think with generative art and music, there's much more of a sense of it like harming the actual creative process rather than being a tool to assist your creative process. Like it's fundamentally ruining what you are doing as a creative person, which I think is different from a lot of other fields where like if it speeds up doctors discovering the medicine, I think that feels different than the argument around AI and creativity where there isn't an answer. And the point is for you to express yourself and that is being lost.
Yeah.
So I think there's great arguments against
humans
it.
enjoy the process in those situations.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean,
Really?
well,
Of making music?
Let me rephrase that. Yes and no. Making shit is hard, as you know. And I think it's, everybody who's made stuff realizes like, oh, a lot of this is brutal and frustrating and hard and difficult. And that's why I think it's so appealing to have a tool like this that could be like, I'm struggling with the bass line of my music. I'm just going to have it write all that and the lyrics and whatever. Or I'm going to have it write the outline of my book or do the background imagery for my game or whatever it is. So I think the temptation to lose those those pieces of frustration is what is where it's really can be harmful.
It's a tough one. It's a balancing act. I for example, the one you just said about background in game, where you do a pattern and it just fills in all the rest, so you can it's tough because that could help an indie game studio have a game look at a higher quality than it was able to do before. There's things it could do, but. The example I just felt was there was a news story about the #1 song on iTunes being from an AI generated artist. And I listened to it and I hated it. I just hated it. I thought it was really, really bad and it made me upset. And, but I like that AI Drake song. So it's not like it's about the thing.
Yeah.
But it just made me realize that there's nothing stopping. I think what I hated more than that was that they made a ton of money off it. I was like, I didn't care when it wasn't someone making money. When I was like, there's now human artists lower on this list. I think it made me more viscerally upset.
Do you think AI Drake wins the beef?
It could do much worse.
You did a follow-up AI Drake versus AI Kendrick beef. You see,
they could keep the beef going forever if they just keep generating AI songs.
Because AI Drake isn't a pedophile, so
that's true.
That goes a long way.
Well, that's what your prompt is.
Okay. You have another story?
Yeah. The trial of the century.
Oh, yeah. Update.
Elon lost. Many are calling it the trial of the century, especially us.
Yeah,
because
we did.
Mostly
really
us on this show, actually.
We called it the trial of the century. Yeah.
I don't think anybody's calling it trial of the century.
A lot of notable media
per
has been
lemonade stand. Okay, so we talked about it 2 weeks ago. We did get a result. Elon lost. So I think if you step back, the fundamental question was not just like which one of these guys has bigger dicks. It was more of like, okay, there's three real questions. Was there a breach of charitable trust? Like, did OpenAI violate agreement to use Elon Musk donations for charitable purposes? And did he did they co-opt that into their own profitable, enriching themselves? And that's really the crux of it, is what they were trying to argue. OpenAI's counter arguments. The biggest one, which I didn't even realize until I was looking into it this last week, is about statute of limitations. So if someone harms you, you have a limited amount of time to sue them. And after that point, you cannot sue them anymore. That's what the statute of limitations is. So in the case of something like this, it's 3 years. And Elon Musk filed this lawsuit claiming that OpenAI took all his money and did all this perverse stuff to enrich themselves in August 5th, 2024. So the only way that his claim is legally valid is if he's saying, I was harmed at or after August 5th, 2021. He had 3 years. And OpenAI's main point is like what ended up being the main argument is, we think you were harmed well before that.
So funny. We did harm you, but it was a long time ago.
TechCrunch has some really good outlines of there's a bunch of different points that they argued and that Musk argued, but that is absolutely the crux of it. So the jury unanimously decided, this is 2 days ago, that Elon's suit fails because he filed it too late. All this shit happened in like 2018 and 20. And even Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers, who we complimented, said, quote, there was a substantial amount of evidence to support the jury's findings, which is why I was prepared to dismiss this on the spot, which is crazy. But if you look at it, Elon knew about the for-profit changes in 2019. They announced like the shift to cap for profit back then. And like we talked about, there's all these internal emails of him saying we should swap to for-profit and I should be in control of it. Yeah. And so the idea that like he just now realized that he's been harmed.
Right as he's about to public IPO.
Right as he's about to public IPO. Right as about OpenAI is about to public IPO after OpenAI has ballooned to one of the most valuable companies in the world. And so he tweeted his response to this. Here it is, Perry, if you pull it up. Regarding the OpenAI case, the judge and jury never actually ruled on the merits of the case, just on a calendar technicality. There is no question to anyone following the case in detail that Altman and Brockman did in fact enrich themselves by stealing a charity. The only question is when they did it. And then he says he's going to appeal to the Ninth Circuit. And it looks extremely unlikely that he'll be able to appeal this. I mean, it's so clear that he waited, and you can argue whether or not that lets OpenAI off the hook, but like in terms of the legal process, like it is way past statute.
Yeah.
It's like a weird conclusion to this.
It is a weird
like,
conclusion.
It's not that satisfying. You're like, well, you waited too long.
It's funny because they both, on some level, Elon got a dub in that he was able to smear Sam Altman and Greg Brockman publicly, which he kind of, but they both come off looking not so great. I mean, it was not a win for either side, really, other than OpenAI doesn't have to go and like open source their thing and ruin their IPO.
Yeah.
But
interesting. Like their argument, so Elon's was, he said that his skepticism of the co-founders grew over time until fall of 2022 when he finally decided that they had betrayed him. And
it's an insane thing to say when they went for profit like years before.
For years prior.
And he's already has many tweets showing that he was aware of it.
And then he finally decided that they did in fact betray him when he learned about Microsoft's plans for a $10 billion investment in 2023, which again, Microsoft had invested $1 billion 5 years before that. And then OpenAI's attorneys are like, you saw the term sheet for the fundraising round in 2028, which, quote, Musk received and his advisors reviewed, but Musk said he didn't read it in detail. So it's like, dude, you had everything here and then you just waited.
Yeah.
Sometimes you read a headline, you make a joke about it. Sometimes you don't read the information that's put in front of you.
You're busy, bro. Maybe Elon Musk is just fucking busy, bro. He had shit to do other than sue.
What a weird trial.
It's so funny because it just feels so like we did that episode about it and it was like, wow, what's going to happen? I wonder how it's going to turn out. And this is the most,
it's like by far the least interesting part of it is that this happened like 9 years ago. That's not what
One of
makes
the
it
things funny is, from my reading, the jury deliberated for like no time at all. It was
2
like
hours.
insta, bro. For how much money they both spent on lawyers?
Yes.
For like this to be obvious, but
how much spectacle for them they fucking took Greg Brockman's private diary
and
then
his diary in public. He had to sit up there and read passages from his diary.
The entire premise of the thing was so bad that the judge almost threw it out initially and was like, whatever, we'll let it go to trial. When everybody knew, like, dude, you waited way too long for this.
They were reading their private text messages. That was so funny.
It seems like, you know what, Elon, maybe he just did this to fuck with OpenAI. I imagine some lawyer was like, dude, this was in 2018. This is not going to work.
Yeah.
And then he's just like,
I assume one of his many highly paid lawyers brought that up at least once.
Yeah. But he didn't read it in detail.
No, he didn't read it in detail.
Slip by.
Interesting. Okay, we just had we should just tell the audience here. We had a brainstorm recently. We got a big whiteboard. We filled it up with ideas. And one of the things we really wanted to do on the show is add some segments. And so if you have ideas for segments that we can do, send them in. But one of the ones we had is Aiden's friend of the week.
Aiden knows a guy
Yeah, Aiden knows a guy.
of his vast and unknowable network
Hi.
that extends to every world leader, by the
Yes,
way.
you have a network on every continent and every city on this globe.
We
Thank
want to
you.
know an update from one of them. We need you to
Thank
pick one of
you.
your friends, and we want to hear about their private life. Who are they dating?
Who are they
Did
dating?
they graduate
What's
from
going
school?
on?
Do they like their major?
They graduated. Did like their, I think that sounded like they liked their major, got an
Okay.
applicable career. Did ask.
Okay, by the way, so we pitched this segment to each other. Aiden knows a guy. We have no idea who Aiden talked to or what this is about. I
Yes,
can't
it's
wait to
like
find
a
out.
surprise every week. Not every week, but whenever we do it.
Because I do know a guy. And who do I know this week? You may have seen in the news that Cisco laid off 4,000 employees.
I did see. I'm not clapping at that. Dude, that's really strange. That's really strange because
How many employees do they have?
we were going to do a segment called Stock of the Week that I was doing.
Yeah.
I had it ready. It's Cisco.
Well, stock of the week, it's Cisco.
I'm not kidding. That's
Link those two ideas
Yeah.
together.
So you got laid off. So,
So
yeah.
no, he didn't get laid off, actually.
Okay.
So he put in a group chat with our friends. It's like, layoffs are coming tomorrow. Wondering what's going to happen. Like, am I on the chopping block? Layoffs come through. He makes it. But I wanted to ask him, what is that actually like on the inside of one of these giant companies? Because you often see these headlines about big companies laying off thousands of people. I want to know what the vibes are like, how that works internally. Really?
Can you guess?
Bad, but it turns out, okay, surprisingly,
Wait, have either of you guys been at a company for layoffs before?
not
I
at this
have,
scale.
but it was a
No.
small, it was a 80-person company.
No, honestly, no. Not Twitch or Nvidia. No layoffs.
Yeah, never.
Stans has a great story. There was huge mass layoffs at a company he was at, and they lined up to turn into their keyboards and they had to return their stuff.
Their badge and gun.
Yeah, like their badge and gun. And one of the guys, this is stuck in my head for over 10 years now. One of the guys takes it, does like a kneel, and goes like an Amazon warrior returning his bow.
That's so good.
And that has been stuck in my head ever since. I don't know. So anyway, I'm sure the vibes are fun.
So less of that in this one, admittedly.
Okay.
Cisco looks like they have 83-ish thousand. So this is like 5% of their workforce.
5% of the
that
workforce.
they're cutting.
Yeah. And my friend, he's been working there for just about 10 years. And I was like, just how do you like working there? He says it's a good, for his position, the pay is really competitive, good. He has a lot of freedom. He doesn't have to go into the office in his position. He works pretty regular hours. They have a great vacation plan. And the perks are good.
Okay.
He's like, this is generally, I actually really like this job, and I do like the company. And I was like, okay, 4,000 people though. You said that in our group chat in advance. You knew the amount. How does that work? And he's like, well, the company has to when you lay off people at this scale, they have to let the public know in some capacity ahead of time. I think either to deal with government regulations or to deal with the number is going to leak out because of the scale of the layoffs anyway. But they don't know who is going to be laid off specifically. But he also said that this happens at Cisco 1 to 2 times per year. This isn't strange. This is a pretty normal thing for his entire time that he's worked there. And I was like, okay, well, what about the size? 4,000 people, 5%. And he was like, this is on the higher end, but still not abnormal. Basically, the company goes through some sort of restructure every year where they are looking at the future, feel like they need to restructure or reorganize. Oftentimes the company will have merged or acquired some sort of smaller company, and we need to make changes in order to accommodate that. People get let go in that process. And so none of this was shocking to him. And he said maybe it's just maybe this is crazy, but this is all just normal to me. And even the I asked him even the anxiety of well, what about you losing your job? If you hadn't made it through. And he was like, well, kind of. I do feel nervous. You don't really know until the day comes. But the reality is for people that get laid off at our company, it's not that bad of a deal. He's like, you get 6 months of severance, and they have a program internally where they help connect you with a new position at a different company or help you find a new job, basically. And he said, I don't know the specifics of how it works, but the internal report is that there's a 75% success rate of that program. And also, you usually, something that was interesting is something that coincides with these layoffs is oftentimes company will have seen record profits for the quarter, but they're still laying off thousands of people. And Cisco did in this case. They laid off all these people, announced their earnings, record profits, stock shoots up.
Yep.
And I was like, is there any acknowledgement of that juxtaposition in internal messaging? Does anyone above you, whether it be a manager, whether it be an executive?
I mean, they announced it in the same blog post. They said earnings crushed.
That's what Microsoft
through the
did.
moon.
That's what,
they all
do it.
And I think from a third party perspective, right, those things clearly clash with each other. Like, how could you lay off all these people while your company is having more success than ever? And he was like, he kind of laughed a bit. He was like, okay, well, a lot of the time when you get, like, usually when you get laid off, or if you've been an employee here, you have stock, like a significant amount of stock as an employee. And so everybody that keeps their job is happy because the stock that they hold goes up. And if you get laid off, your stock goes into, the stock that you had as an employee goes into like this escalated vest program. So anything that you held that hasn't vested has a chance to like speed up and vest still. So you get like an extra bump to your pay package on the way out. And he's like, as a result, people who get laid off are like not that upset.
They have a nice cushion.
Yeah.
And and I think that was his outlook on the whole thing is like, there's some bump here in that if you're one of the people remaining, there can be like a discomfort in like getting moved around or like reorg to new teams. But overall, like the headline seems really heavy-handed, but this is like a really normal thing at their company. And the people who are laid off are treated relatively well. And I was kind of shocked by his like nonchalant answers to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is a guy who didn't lose his job at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
I think the call would be different had he lost his job.
100%. 100%.
And maybe next week's Aiden Knows a Guy, talk to one of your recently laid off friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To balance it out.
I think because the thing that we didn't get to and the thing that I think he didn't really reconcile with is like getting laid off in different periods of time has really different consequences, right? Like he's talking about how good the severance or the pay package is, which can be true.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of you getting repositioned to a new job now versus like 10 years ago feels drastically different.
So the story I'm thinking of is I have a friend who got laid off from Meta and was paid remarkably well there and has not been able to find a position in the same pay package despite having a glowing resume. And it's because the market is just a lot harder for stuff like that. There's less demand.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, that is the problem more than the severance. I think these big tech companies all pay pretty good severance. Like they're not. Yeah.
I would love to hear from somebody who can say it in real words and not corporate speak, like why you have to do this. Like, is it literally just pumping stock price? Because this has happened repeatedly with big tech companies.
They have a specific answer for this layoff.
Okay.
Basically, Cisco provides a bunch of infrastructure for AI companies like networking.
Okay.
And because of the amount of traffic that AI companies demand, and the new type of things that they have to like train employees for, and the new type of technologies that they want the company to invest into, they're like, it's super profitable to support AI companies right now.
Right.
We need more people with that technical expertise. We're laying off a bunch of older, not literally older employees. We're laying off employees that don't have that expertise and rehiring people that do. And that was one more thing he touched on was like every time there's layoffs, they rehire people. And it's not just to fill the exact same positions. It's like there's usually some internal strategy shift of we need this huge chunk of new people and we don't really need these people in their positions anymore. And we're like cycling them out. That's the argument that they've made publicly and also apparently the internal messaging. Yeah.
Aiden Knows a Guy.
And that's Aiden Knows a Guy. And next week we'll talk about Wong Hu-Ning.
It's just so funny you tie that up because that is, I'm not kidding, the best performing, like not penny stock, but large stock in the past month is Cisco.
Really?
And that's our stock of the week.
Yeah, 33% up.
Wait, how much of that is from after this layoff announcement?
No, well, they announced rec revenue at the same time as they did the layoff, so it wasn't really the layoff. It was more the. Obviously, all the AI companies are just dumping money into Cisco to build data centers and stuff. So that's where they're making a ton of money.
Yeah,
but it just feels like a terrible time to be laying people off. But yeah,
Can I give you guys a quick thing?
Yeah.
A follow up to last week. I need to be shamed because I made a joke about Iceland and why it's not important.
Okay.
And how they don't have a standing military because they're not important. And they're in the Arctic, nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's not true.
That's
not true. It's apparently it hasn't been true for a long time.
Okay.
But ever since World War II in the Soviet Union, they apparently, as they became a more strategic.
This should be a segment. Bullshit Nordic fact from Aiden.
No. The segment is Aiden corrects previous
Aiden
Nordic
corrects
bullshit
previous
facts.
Nordic bullshit fact.
This is an important segment.
And then every week we'll get some update on fucking a Nordic country or like that area.
Yeah. I just wanted to correct the record and say that I'm wrong.
Okay.
And
Well,
that
so
I'm wrong.
they have
They're
a military?
strategically important now. They've arguably been strategically important since the end of World War II.
Wait, nobody ever said they weren't strategically important. Did we say they
What
weren't?
are we correcting? Is the
Yeah,
fact
what
that
are
they
we
don't have a
correcting? I thought it was
military?
just they don't have
I
a
made a
military.
joke about why they don't have a standing military last week that is based on an incorrect premise.
Is this just some comment you got?
And
that
I'm
you
here to
wanna-
correct the record.
This is one guy.
Is this one guy?
You're
and we have
getting
to-
one
No,
guy.
I'm not kidding. This was
I
this
get one
was
guy all the time. I get it.
This
but
was
like
tens of people.
okay. And
Tens.
No. And let me just make sure.
What's the
upset
population of the
that we
country?
didn't-
380,000. And it's part of the reason they don't have a standing military. I knew that part. 380,000. About as many sheep. They have about
those
Oh,
10
they
people
start
are
making
probably
up
the
facts
entire
about
military.
Iceland,
Well,
bro.
They
about
probably
one
have
sheep
10
to every
standing
person in that
military.
country.
Yep. Did you know in Iceland they walk backwards on Sundays?
Shut up.
They walk backwards.
Shut up.
How many
Let me know in the
people
comments if that's correct.
Iceland military.
I'm just saying.
They, hold on.
They're the only country in NATO without a standing military.
A goat's head
employs
is a
a
delicacy in
highly
Iceland.
specialized, unarmed staff of roughly 250 people. I'm sorry, man.
Is that a standing military to you?
Iceland
not
does
standing
not
military.
maintain its own armed forces.
Yeah.
It is an active member of NATO. Wait, so what are we correcting?
What? The reason?
What?
What?
Wait.
I thought you're saying that
I
they
think-
do have a
thought, yeah, you said
military.
they don't have a military. You got corrected in the comments, and they're like, they do have a military.
Okay,
but they don't really have a military.
You guys aren't listening. You guys aren't listening to me. You guys got so caught up in making fun of me that I have a fact about a Nordic country that you didn't even listen.
A fact? You have one fact?
Wait, the fact was that they're unimportant. Is that the fact?
What is the fact?
I don't
What
understand.
is the fact about
I don't
Iceland's
understand.
military?
Last week,
Yes.
I said,
Yeah.
I made a joke that they don't have a standing military, which is the true part,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they are not like they are not important. They're too far out of the way geographically. And I'm here to clear it up because tens of people were clamoring for the correct answer.
Tens of people
And you
are in the
come in-
army.
and
First
you-
off. Secondly,
We
what
have
is the reason?
300,000 listeners.
And you two come in and
Most
joke.
of them don't know anything about the Iceland's
And
military.
it's better to correct them, is it not?
Wait, so why
To admit that we're wrong.
do they not have the army? That's the
They
correction.
don't have the army.
No, they don't have the army. Then we agreed on that. That
it's
part's
not
true.
because they
but it's
don't-
not because they're not important.
When what?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for
Hard
watching.
facts.
Thank you for watching Lemonade
Thanks for
Stand.
watching,
All
everybody.
the news that's 50.
Never be scared to correct yourself.
We'll see you next week. If you want a full extra bonus hour where we roasted about this,
If you want more
we
Nordic
have
facts,
a Patreon.
come back to Lemonade
It's
Stand next week.
primarily Nordic facts at this point.
It's all Nordic facts on the
but you'll get a
Patreon.
ton of that on the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.